The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat.
You're listening to Truth Talk.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere.
With Paul Webster and Chance George.
The first year of global governance with the establishment of the G20 in the middle of the financial crisis.
President Bush signed a formal agreement that will end the United States as we know it.
Nope, no weapons over there.
People who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
conspiracy
government.
Theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
Yeah.
Maybe under here.
But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that.
Welcome to Truth Talk Radio. I'm your host, Chance George, on the 9th day of July, 2012. I'm here live to do an abbreviated mini-show. This is just an update to give you a little bit of background for the secret world of conspiracy. Right now, there is a movement of people who actually believe that there is an elite running the world via the Federal Reserve, the Vatican, shadow governments, and the military-industrial complex. But at the same time, there is also a second group of people who are known as the light workers. Their plan is to bring down the cabal, whose plans include mass arrest of bankers, the power elite. They also plan alien disclosure and will be carried out all by the Pentagon and the U.S. military. This was first brought to light by the website Divine Cosmos, which is David Wilcock's website. He is not only a truther, but he is all about the ESP, spiritual awakenings, consciousness, and the powers of... Oh my God, I can't even read my own writing here. Basically, in 2011, in December, there was a thing called the $1 Trillion Conspiracy, which was posted on his blog. It's all about a lawsuit trying to end the financial tyranny. A bunch of people had decided that it is time to step up to the plate and put their money where their mouth is, basically take it to the bankers and try and drop some huge mass arrests on them. There is the only one mainstream article I could find about it, and it simply states that an American claims that the United Nations and the World Economic Forum of the International Treasury Control and the Italian government have conspired with a host of others to steal more than $1.1 trillion in financial instruments. The 111-page federal complaint involves a range of entities common to the conspiracy theorists, including the Vatican, the Masons, the Trilateral Commission, and the U.S. Federal Reserve. Plaintiff claims that he was entrusted in 2009 with financial instruments, which include U.S. federal notes worth $124 billion. Seriously, $124 billion? Are you kidding me? Also, 2 Japanese bonds with a combined value of $19 billion and 1 U.S. Kennedy bond with a face value of $1 billion. This was entrusted to them by an entity known as the Dragon Family. Now, all of this probably completely sounds insane to the average person. Following this, articles then popped up called The Financial Tyranny, Major Event, and Mass Arrests. Basically, I've been following these since the first day, and anyone who has no background in this would automatically shut down and not even be able to comprehend the scale of this complexity. But because I have been following this from the day one, I have noticed all of the background lines up completely with my own independent research. Everything on David Wilcock's website up to this point has been vetted and checked thoroughly by scientists, researchers, and completely stated true. So, when I began following into this, next thing you know, I'm down a rabbit hole that I wouldn't even believe myself. Now, let's begin by just involving a few of the key players. We have David Wilcock, who is a professional lecturer, filmmaker, researcher. He made the movie The 2012 Enigma. He has backgrounds in consciousness science and new paradigms of matter and energy. He is also joined by Ben Fulford, who has a career in journalism. After the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, Fulford claimed on Japanese television that the American group, a corporation with the Federal Reserve and the Rockefellers, used HAARP, Weather Control Scientific Facility, to control the upper atmosphere and cause earthquakes and tsunamis in Japan. Another key player is Drake, who is apparently an undisclosed informant who is one of the key players coming on shows, giving updates, basically a spokesman for the Pentagon. Then we have Lady Dragon, who is a Montreal-based journalist and is at the heart of all the story, covering key interviews. She has also been a game reviewer in the past and has appeared on many, many shows, including Playboy Mansion special about their new game. All of this basically has been thrown out in the last 6 to 7 months. Many, many people are tuning in online. It's not just one or two people reading a blog. There's over 50 million people who have read these blogs and watched the shows in total. Completely convinced that there is a mass arrest coming, which will bring down major bankers, people who are a part of the power structure, part of the controlling elite. Now, this is basically just a quick insight. I can't answer all your questions today or even begin to comprehend the whole thing. That's why we're going to get to the heart of the source. We're going to get Lady Dragon right on the show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Paul and I will host the show. We want to go right at her and get more answers, get direct plans of the conspiracy, find out what is actually happening, if she can give us any insight as to who this mystery Drake is, find out if this is all happening, or find out if this is just a big CIA hoax to mislead us and feed us disinformation, such as the anonymous people, those wonderful people who shut down the internet to fight for our freedoms, even though they are basically an entity admitted by themselves to be CIA. So, tomorrow on the show, once again, Lady Dragon will be appearing about 6 p.m. Not only will we have her on to basically verify that we're real people on a mission of truth, fighting the fight, and we're legitimate here, and at the same time, we're going to try and find out if she can shed any light on what is going on with the entire Drake, Ben Fulford, David Wilcox conspiracy. Now, apparently, there's even another player in this game known as the Cobra, who, if anyone has listened to these shows, like I said, the person who has never heard any of this is going to think that this is completely insane. I have a hard time even wrapping my head around what they're trying to say, and this person with a sound effect on their voice and basically not having any idea about anything to do with them and their backstory, I don't even know how to take them. So that's why we're going to get Lady Dragon on. She knows the backstory. She knows all about all of this, and we're going to get as much insight out of her as we can tomorrow. Then we're going to spend the next week vetting all of that. Paul and I will be back with our review of what we think of the situation, what we think of the players of the game, what we think if this is a hoax, if this is complete bullshit, if this is a waste of everyone's time, if I've been staying up at night reading articles, listening to web blogs, and basically going insane about this has just been nuts, or if we're actually onto something. Now, to back up a little bit of their story in the mass arrests, if you were to read articles, lately we're seeing more and more things about J.P. Morgan being investigated, head bankers quitting in more than 400 CEO top positions around the world. There's the Vatican as being searched and their basic records being gone through. So you see pieces of the puzzle in the news, but no one's picking up on the mass story. The event has been green-lit, but yet nothing came of it when they were supposed to happen on July 4th. So basically, a lot of the people aren't believing it. I have been eerie of it from the start, but a lot of good people I know on the internet are actually right into it and believe this is true, so I'm going to keep giving it the benefit of the doubt. Follow the story. I will go straight for the facts. Like I said, the background story of what has been going on this show and what they've been talking about through the Federal Reserve and all the stuff like that is 100% completely what is going on and backed up, proven. they're talking about how the Federal Reserve is corrupt, how there's a military-industrial complex, how there is all kinds of things that I agree with and many other truthers do. But when I don't even hear one of these things being brought up in this secondary conspiracy, I've dubbed it, on shows such as the Alex Jones Show, on shows such as Press for Truth TV out of Toronto with Dan Dix, when I don't hear things on these shows or on any main conspiracy people's blogs, it kind of really seems to me like, how are all these people missing it? Why are there only a certain amount of conspiracy people who are onto this? Why are some completely dead to the subject? Now, I know people like Bob Chapman has said that Ben Fulford is completely mad. He's out of his mind, and there's nothing with this conspiracy in any way, shape, or form. So, from Bob Chapman's point of view, I would start listening to him before I listen to any of these others. But we're going to have them on the show. We're going to find out what their motives are, if they can give us any insight. Apparently, in another month, there's going to be a huge dropping news based on the Freeman and Straw name, which is your all-capital letters name in comparison to your free name of the natural person. And we are going to get a huge update on that from Lady Dragon as well. So basically, tune in tomorrow. Paul's going to be on the show, and I know that he is probably learning about this conspiracy the same as you guys are right now through me, and he'll have more than enough questions for her. I'll be lucky if I even get to jump in. And basically, we'll try and get everything we can at her without being mean, because really she seems like a nice lady. I've talked to her on the phone, but she's in with these people, knowing what they say and getting interviews with them, so she'll probably have a better light on the situation. So tomorrow, tune in to Truth Radio, and we'll try and figure out what's going on here, because quite frankly, when I'm confused, and I usually get to the bottom of what's going on, it makes me go crazy. So tune in tomorrow. Paul and I will be on the radio show, and we'll try and get to the bottom of the situation. We'll have Lady Dragon on, and if she can possibly get us in touch with Drake, I want him on the show myself, and we are going to take it to him, and we're going to find out the real truth, because we are not having a CIA operative pull one over our eyes here. We are not having another anonymous incident where people believe this is what's happening when it's really not. We're not having the problem reaction solution pulled on us. That is not what's going on. We will vet this to the source, and if they are telling the truth, I'll be the first to admit I thought they were crazy, but hey, who am I? I'm just one guy. So till then, we'll see you tomorrow on the show. Thanks for tuning in.